So we only have one singular homeowners insurance company right now that is willing to insure us, and it was to the tune of about $2,000 more than what we were paying.
I'm currently dealing with the same thing on my house. Our insurance tripled.
If you're not careful when buying a home, you'll end up like the homeowners we see today, with a mortgage you can't afford, and you'll be forced into foreclosure because of skyrocketing homeowners insurance. If you've ever been concerned about a potential change in your mortgage payment, pay very close attention to this next clip.
Did you know that mortgage literally means a death pledge? Like in French, I think that's how you translate the word mortgage, meaning that the deal dies when the debt is fully paid off. I need them to rename that expeditiously, because why did y'all just increase my mortgage by $500? Take the mort out, because it's not giving that this deal is dying anytime soon. Take the mort out. Add viva la edge. The only time this deal is dying, apparently, is when I do. It was never giving mort. It's giving living. And another thing, I want to be included in the rent is too damn high narrative now, okay? I want to be a part of that narrative. Why are y'all trying to be exclusive of those of us that sip the damn Kool-Aid that we should buy a house? Mortgage is too damn high too. Why am I paying this much to exist, to live, to be housed? Nobody asked y'all to start building houses. We could all be out here frolicking in the streets, lollygagging outside. We could be, but y'all decided to do all this, and then now I have to pay for it.
Shout out to her. Her delivery was absolutely hilarious. But $500 a month is a crazy increase. I really don't know how she's so calm about this. I'd be sick. So what likely happened is her property taxes or her insurance increased, resulting in her monthly payment increasing. So let's break down how a mortgage typically works by taking a look at a monthly mortgage statement. So as you can see here on the explanation of amount due, you have the principal, you have the interest, and then you have the escrow, which has the taxes and insurance, of course. And all of that results in your monthly mortgage payment. So a lot of people were saying, you know, the escrow, taxes, and insurance is not part of the mortgage payment. This is a mortgage statement, and the monthly payment is the mortgage payment. Now on this sample, for whatever reason, they have a late fee, but you know, if you pay your mortgage late, you will incur some type of fee. And then they have the total here. And then what you'll see here on the bottom is the past payments breakdown. So since the last statement, how much principal, interest, escrow, fees, etc., that you've paid, and then year to date. So how much you've paid for the entire year for principal, interest, escrow, etc. So more or less, your mortgage statement will look like this if your taxes and insurance are escrow, which is the case for most people. And then over on account information, you see outstanding principal that is owed and the interest rate for this particular mortgage. Let me know in the comments, does she deserve to be part of the rent is too high narrative? Yes or no? If you want to hear a fraudulent and ridiculous reason for home insurance going up, watch this next clip.
I got notification that my mortgage is going up for 2025. I knew that this was going to be happening, but I had been dreading the day that it does happen. And when my husband walked in tonight with a huge stack of mail, I just knew that this was sitting in there. Basically, last year, our homeowners insurance non-renewed us. Travelers, hate you. They non-renewed us. They said that we needed a new roof. They were using satellite photos to look at our roof. Nothing wrong with our roof, according to the home inspector that inspected our home, that we had come out and re-inspect our roof. Or the 3 roofing contractors that we called to get their professional opinion. Travelers Insurance basically said, nah, shove it. You need a new roof, and we're dropping you as customers. Unfortunately, that when they do that, it like puts a bad rap on your name or whatever, like you're in probation almost.
Insurance companies spying on people is crazy to me. I don't believe they're doing this to help you out as the homeowner. I believe they're doing this to find a reason to charge you way more money or drop you completely. She had multiple professionals come over and confirm that there was absolutely nothing wrong with her roof, and they still dropped her. I truly believe a lot of these home insurance companies are fraudulent, and they'll do whatever they can to penalize you for no reason and charge you more for your home insurance. Let me know in the comments if you've experienced that and if you agree. If you thought that was bad, it gets worse.
We only have one singular homeowners insurance company right now that is willing to insure us, and it was to the tune of about $2,000 more than what we were paying, which is heartbreaking. But on a positive, we're allowed to have a trampoline without any additional costs incurred, which I guess is a win-win, right? And then our taxes went up in October. Coincidentally, just a few months after the community struck down a multi-million-dollar budget increase to the taxes. Community struck it down for a number of reasons, but primarily because every year for like the past 4 years, taxes have increased in the town that I live in. I do live in New Hampshire. We are one of the highest tax states out there. though I'm sure someone's going to tell me that their taxes are higher. We don't have income tax or sales tax, so that has to be recuperated through the tax of properties. And no, our governor will not legalize certain plants and tax those as a way to help make up the difference. Instead, it gets brought down to people like myself and my husband. Fortunately, myself and my husband are employed. We're not on a fixed income. Unfortunately, a lot of people in my community and other communities are on fixed incomes, and they cannot afford these consistent tax increases. So this is pricing people out of their homes, but that's okay.
A $2,000 per year increase is crazy. I'd be sick. I'd be super upset if that was me. And she's only in this situation because the previous insurance dropped her. Also, shout out to the community members wherever she lives for voting against property tax increases. I personally don't think there's ever a reason to vote for more property taxes or any taxes. In my opinion, they need to figure out whatever they need to do with the revenue they're already generating from our taxes. At the end of the day, we're all just trying to get by, and we don't need our taxes being increased. Would you vote for higher property taxes in your area? Let me know in the comments. And it's really sad that she's mentioning that a lot of people in her area are on fixed incomes and they can't withstand these increases. So it's clear that these insurance increases, they negatively impact everybody. The next clip is in a state that you're familiar with that has had tremendous issues with homeowners insurance, especially in recent years.
I'm just wondering why my homeowners insurance went from $6,300 to $9,800. I'm right here with you. It's ridiculous. One of the biggest problems we have right now in Florida, especially as a homeowner, is our insurance rates have skyrocketed in the last 2-3 years. I'm currently dealing with the same thing on my house. Our insurance tripled in the last 2 years. And it's pretty clear to me when I start shopping for policies when the first set of questions that an agent asks you are all related to the roof. And of course, we have insurance companies pulling out of Florida. Farmers just pulled out of Florida over the last week, which means the insurance companies that are staying are gonna start monopolizing. It's definitely an issue, and it's an issue that I'm dealing with myself, and a lot of my clients are. So I'm right there with you.
I feel really bad for this guy. If your homeowner's insurance has ever gone up like crazy from one year to the next, I want to hear from you. Let me know what happened and how much it was increased by in the comments. And unfortunately, he's in Florida, which is a pretty tough place to own a home right now, especially with the issues that have been taking place with homeowners insurance. From the outside looking in, it honestly seems like a complete nightmare. Unfortunately, there can be sticker shock even if you feel like you were prepared for homeownership.
Homeowners, how are y'all doing out there? Because I'm not okay. I just got my homeowner insurance renewal and I am stunned. We as homeowners have to have home insurance. You have to. It's the law. You have to have home insurance. Okay. I figured it would go up a little bit because eggs cost $12, so of course everything else will go up.
Quick survey. Let me know if eggs are still way too expensive where you live. A quick tip is I suggest getting a Costco membership or Sam's Club if there are one of those in your area. I would call, see if they have eggs or when they get the eggs delivered. And the only thing is you're going to have to go there early and you might have to wait a while, but you should be able to get some eggs. It's worked for me at Costco.
2 years ago, my homeowner's insurance was $1,100. That's what I base my home mortgage out of. I know how much it's going to be monthly, and it's never going to change. Okay. Well, the next year, my homeowner insurance went up to $1,750, and my house payment went up an extra $200 because of that, and it was an adjustment. Okay. Now I just got the renewal, and the renewal says that my new my new home insurance payment is going to be $4,749. That means that my house payment is going to go up an additional $370 extra that I pay for rent, my mortgage, whatever you want to call it. $370 extra from what I already pay because of home insurance monthly. Our pay isn't going up higher. How are we doing? How are we supposed to pay for the extra water bill? Don't get me started on this electric bill. The groceries. All of these things keep going up, but our pay doesn't seem going up. We aren't getting raises that are sufficient enough to be equivalent to the cost of living.
So her monthly mortgage payment has gone up $600 in the past few years, and her homeowner's insurance has gone up over $3,600 in the last few years. And this just speaks to a larger problem that we're having in our country right now. So many expenses are going up and the wages are not increasing to match a lot of those expenses, even for the most prepared people. So it's just really tough right now, and I honestly feel very bad for her. I personally don't think it's sustainable for our necessities to be going up so much compared to wages for the everyday person in this country. Let me know if you agree. Now, you might be thinking that she should simply just shop around, but she's going to explain why it's not that simple. But first, I would love if you can hit that subscribe and like button. If you want to get better at real estate investing, you got to follow this channel. And also, it helps to spread this video to more people so we can help more people. So I'll greatly appreciate if you can hit like and subscribe.
A $3,000 increase, that's 100% increase on our home insurance that we do not have an option of changing. When I called Farmers, they said California is too risky to insure. So insurances companies moved out of California. So now we're stuck with the couple that left, and they're allowed to make their prices so high because it's only a couple of them. Demand, supply and demand. Like, how is this legal? How am I now going to have to either pay $5,000 up front for my home insurance or pay an extra $375 a month on my mortgage? I might as well go rent, because at least I don't have to worry about home insurance there like that, and my monthly rent won't go up an extra of almost $400. So how are we doing out there, homeowners?
She mentioned something very important here. So states like California, Louisiana, and Florida have had issues with insurance carriers completely leaving the state. Now, what this does is it gives the remaining companies an opportunity to jack up the prices and rip off all homeowners because there's less competition. And this is why competition is good in business, because at a certain point, companies are going to have to compete on price to get your business. Now, if you're one of those folks who believe homeowners end up in these tough positions because of realtors, you got to let me know what you think of this next clip.
My final thought: I'm a realtor. I put people in homes. I help them buy their dream home. When we purchase a home, we purchase a home thinking that this is a payment that I'm comfortable with, and I'm going to bust my butt to make sure I make this home payment. But when you increase someone's home by even $100, if that's not something they budgeted for, if that's not something they're used to paying, it takes an effect. That $100 has to come out of somewhere, and it takes an effect as to everyone. And I feel horrible that as an agent, I put somebody in this home for years, and they think that this is their payment, and now everyone is going to be even a little bit tighter on their budget because now they have to pay extra for home insurance. It doesn't make sense. I'm going to shop around more home insurance and see what better quote I can get, but I'm scared to think that this is just going to be the final outcome.
So it's a big mistake to buy a home and believe that your mortgage payment will remain the same. It's 100% inaccurate. We just looked at the statement a few minutes ago to understand how it typically works. Your taxes and your insurance will change over time. The majority of people have a fixed rate mortgage, so the interest portion will remain the same. I am glad she mentioned shopping around though. If you're in a state where many companies have left, it's going to be a little bit harder for you, and you may not be able to get the most competitive rates. But if you're in a state where this is not an issue, I strongly encourage you to shop for your homeowner's insurance every single year and try to negotiate the best rate that you can. And personally, I don't think she should feel bad for selling anyone a home. I think she should just make sure to educate them as much as possible so they understand what to expect. They understand what is going to change in terms of what they have to pay for, and just educate them as much as possible so they don't go in blindly. I think that's the best she can do, and leave the decision up to the buyer. And this is another reason to not buy more house than you can afford. You should never buy a house at the max of what you're approved for. So for example, if you are approved for $500,000, you should try to find a home that meets as much of your needs as possible for the lowest price. So maybe where you live, that's $400,000, right? There's no need to go up to $500,000 if you can get what you need for $400,000, especially considering the fact that your expenses are going to go up over time. So I remember what it felt like for me when my mortgage first changed, and I didn't know anything about property taxes or insurance. I didn't know that that stuff would change. It actually changed twice in 1 year. Now, altogether, it's probably gone up a little less than $200, but that's not something I was ready for. I was shocked by that. And you'll see something similar in the next clip.
Are you buying a house? Because I bought a house and nobody told me that your mortgage changes. If your insurance and property taxes are wrapped into your mortgage, that changes. When I bought my house 2 years ago, my mortgage payment was $1,875, and my mortgage payment is now $2,250. Nobody told me this when I signed all that paperwork, and I'm generally like competent adult, and nobody told me that. So I'm telling you.
Depending on your loan, your principal, your interest, your taxes, and insurance are all part of one monthly payment. Then what the mortgage company does is they pay your taxes and insurance for you when they're due. And this is from the funds allocated to escrow. So if we look at this example again, you'll see right here under explanation of amount due, there's escrow, taxes, and insurance, right? And then if we scroll down, we'll see pay year to date. For escrow, it is $964.72 that has been paid so far year to date. And what will happen is they will do an analysis to figure out if you have enough in here. So if your insurance or property taxes has increased, this escrow amount that you need to pay every month is going to increase. And that is typically what everyone we've been talking about lately is experiencing. So hopefully seeing the actual example of what the statement can look like is helping you understand how this all typically works. Now, some loans allow you to waive escrow, which means that you would pay the property taxes and insurance on your own instead of putting it into escrow with the mortgage company. One thing I want you to keep in mind, though, that doesn't mean you're going to save money, right? If your property taxes are going up, whether you escrow them or whether you pay them on your own, the same amount of money is coming out of your pocket. For your homeowner's insurance, it's the same thing. Unless you're able to renegotiate or find a better rate, it's the same money that's coming out of your household. It's just coming in a different way. Now let's hear some tips on how to navigate homeowners insurance.
All right, another homeowners insurance rate increase. Homeowners went up from $900 in 2022 to 2023 in Arkansas, up over $900. Does anyone else see these kinds of increases? I'm not even talking about just Arkansas. I'm just talking about people that have homeowners insurance in general. Are you guys seeing these types of major rate increases? Now, if you are seeing rate increases, here's kind of my tips and tricks of what you can do to help fight the rate increase. Number one, shop around, see what else is out there for you. If you've been with an insurance company for about 3 to 5 plus years, the same company, odds are is that you can find something significantly cheaper than what you're paying currently. Tip number two, your deductible. Is it worth it for you to save money by increasing your deductible? Let's say, for an example, you had a $1,000 deductible. What if you got to a $2,000 deductible? Now, make sure that you have that money set aside. Don't just be increasing your deductible just to save money. Because, again, your deductible is what you pay in the event that there's an accident, total loss, whatever the situation is. Your deductible, you're paying it. If you go from $1,000 to $2,000 and you're saving $50 a month, it might be worthwhile to do that because you can come out ahead in about a year and a half. On top of that, so again, shop around, look at your deductible. If you can increase your credit long term, gosh almighty, that's going to do magic for your guys' insurance rates because it's going to decrease your insurance score, which is what you want. You want to be, so insurance companies, they go from like a 1 to a 50. A lot closer to a 1, the better rates that you get. If you get to a higher up on a 50, that's not so good.
Really good tips there. I do like the fact that he mentioned the deductibles, but also making sure that you have that money set aside because you never know, something may happen and you might need to pay that deductible. So definitely make sure that it is an amount that you comfortably have set aside in the worst case scenario. Overall, you shouldn't have any loyalty to a homeowner's insurance company. You should always be shopping around and seeing if you can get a better rate for the same service. I recently did this for my properties and I'm going to do it again in about a year to make sure I have the best rate for the same service. If there are any other tips or experiences that you want to share, I would love to hear from you. Drop that in the comments and I'm looking forward to interacting with you there. Also, in the pinned comment of this video, there's a bunch of free resources that'll help you get started on your journey in real estate investing. So anything from out-of-state investing to local investing, down payment assistance programs. All of that is in the pinned comment. It costs you absolutely nothing. So make sure you download some of those today. Now that you know about homeowners insurance nightmares, I want you to learn about how to buy cheap properties. Check out this playlist right here.